Steve Park. He's been quick all week long.
Up on the roof, there it is, arms in the air. Steve Parks celebrating his first win in fine style.
Hi everybody, my name is Adam Fenwick and we are here with NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour legend, yes I used legend, Steve Park. Steve, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Adam. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderfully. The reason we're getting together today is the upcoming race this weekend at Riverhead Raceway is named for you. It is the Miller Lite Salute Steve Park 200. So we wanted to kind of talk to you a little bit about what your modified career was like. So why don't we start with your earliest memory of modified racing? What is it? What is your earliest memory of modified racing?
Really, my earliest memory is just really racing with my dad. I mean, my dad was they used to call him the traveling man, Bob Park, and he used to travel all up through New England and race a modified. So I kind of grew up in a modified racing family, so it was almost natural that I got into a four-cylinder open-wheel car, which back then they were called Pro 4 Modifieds. When I was 15, I think we lied about my age a little bit to get racing earlier, and now you see these kids 12, 13 years old racing, so maybe I wasn't that young. I got the opportunity after winning a lot in the Pro 4 car to have a sponsor of mine come along and say, why don't you run the 8-cylinder Modifieds? And I said, well, I would, but I didn't really have the money to, and along with some minor sponsorship that we had, we jumped in modified and actually ran my dad's modified. My dad was racing ARC at the time, and he was racing for the points at Riverhead Raceway. When I was like 16 years old, he needed somebody to qualify his car while he was coming back from, I think, Pocono running the ARCA car. And him and his crew chief tagged me to give me the shot at it, and I was kind of surprised, caught off guard, and they felt they had enough confidence in me that I could run practice and run the heat race, get the modified qualified for my dad, and then my dad would fly back in and race it. So that was really my first experience, was actually in my dad's car, and we qualified through the heat race and got in, and it opened up some eyes, and some of the sponsors that we had decided that maybe we should try to go modified racing, which we did at Riverhead Raceway.
So obviously the reason we're talking today is because Riverhead has named Saturday's event after you.
Yeah.
What does it mean for a place like Riverhead that has said so many legends come through the doors and race and win there to name a race after you?
It's an honor. We never set out in racing as a goal to be idolized or memorialized or put in halls of Hall of Fames and having races named after you. And I think at one point I probably never thought I'd get that old enough to have that done, but it's an honor. I mean, it just goes to show you that even though maybe you didn't think about it at the time, that people respected what you were doing and what you were able to achieve, and proud that you came from a place like Riverhead Raceway. And even though I moved and kind of cut more of my teeth on a national level in Connecticut, I was still born and raised in Long Island. But again, thankful for some great people that were behind me at the time that gave me the opportunity, and then it was just a matter of winning races and trying to make a name for yourself and have the dedication and the will to try to take it to the top, which we're fortunate enough to do. But it starts at places like Riverhead, and for them to honor you by naming one of their biggest races after you. Gives me the pleasure to know that when I go up there, I'll be able to see some of the fans and friends that have stood behind me for all these years, that have given me the opportunity to go on and win races in the highest level of NASCAR, and then come back and thank them.
Do you have a memory, or maybe a couple of memories, that stick out to you from your time on the Modified Tour as maybe your favorites?
I just think actually winning my first race at Riverhead, I think my dad told me years ago, I was rambunctious young guy, and I'm like, I'm gonna go on the tour, and I wasn't winning a lot of races yet in my early career, and my dad said, why don't you race here at Riverhead, and when you start winning multiple races, then move on. He said, this track doesn't change, these cars don't change. He said, you got to change your driving style, learn how to tune on your car, and try to win at a place that you race every Saturday night that doesn't change. When you go to all these other tracks where you have to change within a couple hours to get your car tuned to the racetrack. Learn how to do it here. So that's why they always say cutting your teeth on the short tracks is really true. You learn your craft on these short tracks, and then you take what you learned on to see if you can take it and adjust it to other tracks that you go to all through New England. And that just makes you a better race car driver. So places like Riverhead have crafted, I think, a lot of good talent, including myself, that's been able to go on and make a career out of stock car racing.